Welcome to Book Buzz Reviews and Summaries. What if I told you that the greatest performances of your life are not confined to stages, but happen in everyday moments, across boardrooms, in job interviews, on first dates, and at kitchen tables? What if I told you that life is a series of stages, and you're always in the spotlight, whether you realize it or not? Most people go through life afraid to step into the center of the stage. They downplay their potential, shrink from opportunity, and let fear script their lines. But here's the truth. You don't need to be an actor to give a breathtaking performance. You just need the courage to show up fully, authentically, and unapologetically. Every time it matters, this book is not about becoming someone you're not. It's about becoming more of who you truly are and delivering that version of yourself with clarity, confidence, and charisma. Because the moment you decide to speak, pitch, lead, negotiate, or connect, you are giving a performance. And in this high-stakes theater of life, you deserve to steal the show. You don't need to memorize perfect lines or master the art of illusion. What you need is the courage to step into your role with conviction, to own the room like it was built for you, and to transform every high-pressure moment into an opportunity to rise. So the question isn't if life will put you on stage. The question is, will you step up or step aside, turn the page, and let's get you ready, not just to perform, but to perform like a pro, to win hearts, to open doors, to change lives, because this is your cue. The spotlight is waiting, and it's your time to steal the show. Part 1. Welcome to the stage of life. Chapter 1. Life is a performance, so own the stage. Michael Port flips the script on how we usually think about performance. It's not just something actors do on stage. It's every speech, job interview, sales pitch, first date, tough conversation, and even how you show up at work or at home. You are always performing, whether you realize it or not. But here's the kicker. Performance doesn't mean being fake. Port teaches that it's about being the boldest, most compelling version of your authentic self in the moments that matter most. The point isn't to put on a mask. It's to reveal the most confident and capable you. He calls it stealing the show. And that's not about being flashy or showy. It's about being so dialed in, so present, and so skilled that people can't help but listen, trust, and want more of what you're offering. Chapter 2. Stop winging it. Rehearse for real life. Let's be real. Too many of us wing it through major moments. Whether it's a big meeting, a presentation, or even a difficult conversation, we go in unprepared and hope it works out. Michael Port, he says hope is not a strategy. Actors never go on stage unrehearsed. So why should we? Port introduces the idea that rehearsal is power. He breaks down how even the most natural-seeming speakers have scripts, preparation, and structure behind what they do. They just make it look effortless. The goal isn't to memorize a robotic script. It's to internalize your message so deeply that you can deliver it with total freedom, clarity, and confidence. Even under pressure, he shares a powerful mantra here. Preparation liberates your presence. Chapter 3. You are enough. This chapter hits the heart. Port gets personal, sharing how even he, a trained actor and pro speaker, used to battle serious self-doubt. And he reminds us that almost everyone feels like a fraud sometimes. The secret, don't wait to feel confident to take action. Take action until you feel confident. He introduces the idea of choosing your performer's identity. It's not about being someone else, but about choosing who you want to be in the spotlight, the qualities you want to embody when it matters. Ask yourself, who do I need to be in this moment? What version of me will serve this audience or goal best? Confidence isn't something you find. It's something you create by choosing to step into that role. Chapter 4. Kill the critic, yours and theirs. There's a voice inside most of us that whispers, "You're not good enough." Port names it, the critic, and it's time to show it the exit. He explains that your inner critic is often just your brain trying to protect you from embarrassment or risk. But in doing so, it shuts down your courage and creativity. Port teaches how to quiet that voice through self-compassion, deliberate practice, and positive self-talk that's specific and believable, not just generic hype. He also walks you through strategies to handle external critics, those people who try to cut you down. His advice: don't perform for approval, perform for impact. You can't control how everyone reacts, but you can control how you show up. Chapter 5: The Method of the Moment. In this chapter, Port begins to reveal some actors' techniques he's adapted for everyday life. And they're brilliant. One standout: the moment before. Before any important interaction, take a moment to pause and ask, what just happened before this moment? What do I want to create right now? Actors never walk on a stage cold. They enter from somewhere. Something happened. They carry intention. You should too. The moment before helps you. Walk into a meeting with purpose. Enter a conversation with emotional readiness. Start a speech with focus and presence. It's a small but powerful technique that grounds you and gets your head in the game. Part 2: Crafting Magnetic Performances. Chapter 6: Know your role and pick the right one. Every great performance begins with one crucial decision. What role are you playing in this moment? And is it the right one? Now, don't get it twisted. Port isn't telling you to be fake or put on a mask. He's saying you already play different roles all the time. Parent, friend, leader, student, challenger, listener. The key: choose your role deliberately to serve the goal of the moment. Selling a product? Be the trusted advisor. Leading a team? Be the visionary motivator. Interviewing for a job? Be the confident contributor. Port explains that many people struggle because they unconsciously pick a role that doesn't fit the occasion. Or worse, let fear choose for them. He encourages you to rehearse stepping into roles that bring your best qualities to the front, not your insecurities. Chapter 7: Story is the soul of performance. This is the beating heart of the book, and frankly, it's storytelling gold. Port lays out why stories are the most powerful tool you have as a communicator. They captivate attention, connect emotionally, and make your message unforgettable, but don't just ramble through a vague anecdote. Port teaches a specific structure you can use for any performance. The ordinary world, where your client, audience started, the conflict, the challenge, tension or problem, the resolution, what changed, what was learned, the moral or message, why it matters. Whether you're telling your own story, a client success story, or a metaphorical one, the goal is the same. Pull the audience in and make them feel something. One quote to remember: people may forget what you said, but they'll remember how you made them feel. And stories make people feel. Chapter 8: Find your big idea and hit it hard. Every great performance is anchored in one big idea. Port warns that too many speakers, presenters, and job seekers drown their audience in too much information or too many points. The result: confusion and forgettable impressions. Instead, he pushes you to identify. What is the one core idea you want to be remembered for? What does your audience need to believe or do after hearing you? Then repeat it. Reinforce it. Weave it into everything. Port calls it hitting your actable idea, something the audience can act on immediately. He shares examples from successful business pitches, TED Talks, and keynote speeches to show how this works in practice. The takeaway: clarity is captivating. Complexity is a killer. Chapter 9: Master the art of dramatic contrast. Here's where performance gets juicy. To make your content sing, Port urges you to use contrast between before and after, problem and solution, struggle and triumph, facts and emotions, silence and speech, because contrast creates tension, and tension keeps people hooked. When there's tension, people lean in. They want to know what happens next, and it's not just in your story, it's in your delivery too. Vary your tone. Play with volume. Use strategic pauses. Speed up, then slow down. Use your body and facial expressions. Don't perform in one note. Dynamic beats, monotone every time. Chapter 10: Create moments, not monologues. One of the most memorable insights in this section is this: you're not giving a speech. You're creating an experience. Port invites you to think like a director and designer of moments. He explains how to open with surprise or curiosity, design emotional highs and lows, craft memorable takeaways, what he calls climactic moments, end on a powerful call to action or insight. Every performance should have a rhythm, a flow, like a great film or concert. Your job is to take the audience on a journey, Not just dump information on them. You don't have to be theatrical, but you do need to be intentional. Part 3. Deliver like a pro. Chapter 11. The rehearsal ritual. Train like a top performer. You wouldn't expect a Broadway actor to walk into a performance and just wing it, right? Yet that's what most people do with job interviews, presentations, even crucial conversations. Port stresses this again. Rehearsal is non-negotiable, but he redefines rehearsal as something dynamic and creative. It's not about mindlessly repeating your talk. It's about exploring different ways to deliver it, finding the right emotional tone, testing pauses, gestures, volume, refining your openings and closings. He calls it chunking, breaking your talk into small pieces and working each one until it feels like second nature. Rehearsal is also where you identify weaknesses before they trip you up and where you build muscle memory so you're free to be present when it matters most. Chapter 12. The confidence equation. You know that feeling when your hands sweat, your voice shakes, and your mind races? Yeah, stage fright. Public speaking anxiety. The fear of screwing up. Port gets real about it here. Even professionals feel it. The difference, they train through it. He introduces a formula. Competence plus preparation equals confidence. You don't wait for confidence to show up. You create it by doing the work. And then you act confidently, even if you're nervous, because your audience doesn't care about your nerves. They care about your message. Port also recommends breathing techniques to calm your body, physical warm-ups to release tension, mental rehearsal, visualizing success, and most importantly, focusing on serving the audience, not impressing them. When you focus on them, not you, fear fades. Chapter 13. Vocal power. Commanding with your voice. If your voice doesn't match your message gets lost. Port goes deep here into vocal variety. Not just what you say, but how you say it. Pitch. Don't drone. Vary your highs and lows. Volume. Use softness for intimacy, loudness for impact. Pace. Slow down for gravity. Speed up for energy. Pauses. Use silence to let a message land. He calls this vocal punctuation, adding emphasis the way a writer uses bold or italics. Also, he busts the myth that you need a radio voice. You don't. You need a clear, expressive, and authentic voice. One that reflects your true personality, amplified. Chapter 14. Body language that speaks before you do. People are reading you before you even say a word. So what's your body telling them? Port walks through the nonverbal signals that make or break your delivery. Eye contact. Don't scan or stare. Connect. Gestures. Use your hands. Just make them purposeful. Posture. Shoulders back. Chin up. Own your space. Movement. Don't pace nervously. Anchor. Move with intention. One powerful idea. Don't perform to the audience. Perform with them. Instead of talking at people, engage with them. Use your presence like a conversation, even in front of 1,000 people. Chapter 15. Improv for life. Port explains that improvisation is a skill, and every high-stakes moment involves at least a little improv. What if someone throws you a curveball question? What if the projector fails? What if the conversation doesn't go as planned? Rather than panic, Port teaches improv principles to keep you present, calm, and flexible. Accept the moment, then add to it. Be in the now. Don't rehearse your next line while someone's talking. Make your scene partner look good. Help others shine, and you will too. Improv isn't about being funny. It's about being agile, responsive, and real, especially when things don't go as planned. Chapter 16. Handle Q&A like a pro. For many, the Q&A is the scariest part of any performance. You're exposed, off-script, vulnerable. Port says, that's exactly why it's the best part. It's your chance to connect, respond, and show that you own your material. But it takes prep. He gives tactics like repeating the question so everyone hears it, pausing before answering to show thoughtfulness, deflecting curveballs with grace, staying grounded if someone tries to rattle you. And his best advice, don't let Q&A unravel your impact. End your talk after the Q&A with a strong closing statement, something clear and compelling that brings the room full circle. Part 4. Performing in real life. Chapter 17. steal the show in job interviews. Job interviews are performances, high stakes, unscripted, and deeply personal. Port shares how many people show up insecure or overly rehearsed, and neither makes you stand out. The goal is to deliver a performance that says, I know who I am, I know what I bring, and I know what you need. He outlines strategies too. Rehearse key stories that showcase your value. Step into the role of the problem solver, not the job seeker. Ask compelling questions that shift the dynamic. Close strong by restating your enthusiasm and fit. He also addresses nerves. Treat them like a signal that this matters, and reframe the interview as a conversation, not a test. Chapter 18. Perform in meetings, sales pitches, and negotiations. Everyday professional settings are mini stages, and most people show up flat. Port urges you to bring the same intention, structure, and energy to your internal meetings, sales conversations, or negotiations that you would to a big speech for sales pitches. Lead with story, not features. Focus on their problem, not your product. Make it conversational, not a monologue for negotiations. Anchor yourself in value, not desperation. Be collaborative but clear on your needs. Use strategic silence and emotional control. And for meetings, don't just talk. Lead, use contrast, voice, and physicality. And with a clear takeaway or next step. In other words, don't attend the meeting. Perform in it. Chapter 19. Deliver performances in tough conversations. Port gets deeply human here. He reminds us, performances aren't always on stage or under bright lights. Sometimes the most important performances happen in breakups, apologies, difficult feedback, family interventions, honest personal truths. He's not telling you to fake your way through them. Far from it. What he says is, bring your most courageous self. Be prepared. Be present. Speak with intention. Use the tools you've learned. Structure your message for clarity. Choose your emotional tone. Create contrast. What can be. Listen deeply, then respond instead of reacting. When you show up as your best self in tough moments, you don't just perform, you transform relationships. Chapter 20. You are always performing. Own it. The book ends with an empowering idea. You're always performing. Every moment is a chance to connect, to lead, to inspire, or to shrink. Michael Port wants you to stop seeing performance as a fake act. Instead, see it as your most authentic expression, amplified. You're not pretending. You're intentionally showing up as who you truly are when it matters most. He challenges you to rehearse your greatness, step into roles that serve your goals, craft messages that move people, deliver with heart, power, and style, embrace moments of fear as proof that you care, and above all, steal the show. Not by being perfect, but by being bold, honest, and unforgettable. Final takeaway. When you close the final page of Steal the Show, here's what sticks. You're not just a speaker or a professional or a partner. You're a performer in the grand stage of life. And the world doesn't need more people who just show up. The world needs people who stand up, speak up, and light it up. Read the book to learn more. Thanks for listening to Book Buzz Reviews and Summaries.